Hey guys, welcome back to the Simply Knives YouTube channel. Today we got for you my top carried knives of September. I got this video idea from Slicey Dicey, who is actually one of the first YouTubers that I started watching and kind of helped get me into this hobby. Definitely a great channel, please go check him out. And so yeah, he does these every month, and I always thought that they were just a really cool, just different way to check out some knives. So I actually don't necessarily keep a chart or tally of which knives I carried the most, but I do know that it was these 5 right here, and then we have some honorable mentions that were more used as secondary knives. So without further ado, let's just go start from left to right. Did a review on this recently. This one is the Veron Voyage Mini Archbishop in carbon fiber. And, this one was just so fun and like such a joy to carry throughout the month. I love the fidget factor to it. I also got it recently before September started, so it had that new kind of flair to it. It's also incredibly slicey. The forward finger choil is super, super comfortable, and it was just a joy to be able to have this knife throughout the month. I also just love the look. I guess the only thing is it looks like the fit and finish on that pivot collar, it kind of looks just slightly off kilter, but oh well. I got this used anyways, so it's probably a result from that. Next up, we have the Savivi Dogma in copper. Haven't done the review on this knife yet, but normally I get my knives used off of Knife Swap. But for this one, I just couldn't be without it any longer. I can Spidey flick this. But yeah, it's just so freaking, like, the action is incredible. You can thumb roll it. It's a little heavy. I think it's close to like 4.5 ounces. It's got black wash within those divots. I guess it's kind of like a jigged copper, to make it have that kind of like an old time feel to it. It's got that nice deep carry pocket clip with recessed screws, lanyard hole. I did notice that, you can get some scratches on the copper. And I guess on the other side, I think it's just the black wash, not scratches, but these are a little bit of scratches, so you can be mindful of that. But this knife is super fun. The blade is so freaking cool. I love the blade. I love a nice clip point, and I love that this is just like a very modernized kind of version of a classic clip point jigged handle design, and I think it looks absolutely incredible. I had to get this one new when I saw it come out. Also has a nice forward finger choil that you can fit your hand in nicely and still have space without having a part of your hand touch the actual blade. Very, very slicey as well with a nice hollow grind. So that is another one. Here is a new knife, the Sabivi Exarch. I got it with the carbon fiber and Damascus. Also has a nice hollow grind to it. You can kind of see that up towards here, the Damascus, the lines are a lot closer together, and then down below, they're further apart. I love the I guess other counterpart of this knife, which I believe is, the Chronic, which is the flipper tab, but I especially love this version. I just think that it's incredibly sleek, incredibly good looking, nice action, really fun to play with, and this is probably one of my best looking knives that I have just overall. I think it looks so good, so sleek, and that's like just exactly up my alley in terms of what I like in a knife. Unfortunately, I don't have any dress nice occasions to use this in. It can also do that weird pointer finger opening, but it's just better to use your thumb. Nice action, really easy to deploy, and looks freaking amazing. This one is very fun to carry. The next knife that we got on the list is a Quiet Carry IQ, and I have to say that you know, I guess the theme of this month is knives that I got them all recently, but I got them with just the designs in mind. This one has been modified to have kind of a, I guess, entropic anodizing on it, which happens when you heat up the titanium and then I believe you just kind of like dip it into an acid and it just automatically creates this kind of cool oxide layer on the titanium. But anyways, the Quiet Carry IQ, I think that this is one of just the most attractive like blade and handle profiles ever. I really like the pocket clip. I've thought about polishing up pocket clip and then redoing this anodization so that it's like a shiny blue. The person I got this from did do a stone wash on the blade as well. So this is much more modified than, you know, you might normally find. But I just love the lines on this guy. It's freaking so good looking. I also love the classic 4 dots for the Quiet Carry. Pretty easy to open, although I guess something I did notice is that this can just start like going to get, I guess it can kind of rub your finger raw, especially if you have your finger on the lock bar. But it has great action and it just looks so nice, carries nice in the pocket. Also, I noticed this clip is just like very inconspicuous, I'd say. You know, it doesn't look like a typical knife clip, so it looks really cool in the pocket. But I absolutely love this. One of my all-time favorite knives. Actually, most all of these 5 are in my favorite knives. Next one is this right here. This is the Finch model, I think it's 1929. Yes, there we go, in 154 cm steel. Got this used off Knife Swap on a pretty sweet deal. This has the Cocobolo handle, which I think this is just one of the nicest. Oh, it's so good looking. All these knives that I have right here, I think that they all look freaking amazing. This knife in particular, not only does it look amazing, it has really phenomenal action. It closes so easily. Like, it's just so smooth. Really fun to play with. The flipper tab is completely fine, but I just play with it so often that it also, you can see it kind of comes to a point there. It can kind of also start rubbing your finger, rubbing the skin off, like not skin off, but just hurts, I guess, eventually after a while. But this knife is freaking awesome. It looks so cool. This is like if your grandpa was like, yeah, they don't make knives like they used to anymore. And then he pulls out this knife and he's like, but this one, they do. It just feels super, super quality all around with a very classic, nice design. So that one, I freaking love. This one I probably did carry the most as like a primary knife throughout the whole month. Then some honorable mentions. Here we have the TS35 Fire Ant. M390 blade, night morning design. Very small, but pretty cool. If you saw my unboxing of this knife, you know that, oh, fix that. This knife was essentially impossible to open when I first got it. So I actually had to disassemble it and bend this lock bar back. I also had to take off this little steel lock bar insert. And then I just kind of bent it back a little bit. I ended up bending it back just a tad bit too far. So if you see the lockup on this guy now is like right there, and then, yeah, like not very good. So I'll probably disassemble it again and fix that. But this guy is my absolute most common secondary carry of the entire month. Great 5th pocket knife. It looks so, so good. Flips well. Nice titanium with a carbon fiber insert. I like the look of this carbon fiber specifically. Kind of looks like almost like a wood grain. And it just feels, you know, very quality, despite that I messed up the lock bar. But I can fix that later. Also, it's not too big of a deal because if you were using it, you know, this flipper tab is blocked by your finger so it won't close. And the lock doesn't break when I'm doing that. So very awesome knife, probably the most common secondary knife that I carried in the entire month. And then we have the Benchmade Tengu, the Tengu flipper. This is an Ozer, J. Ozer designed knife. And I think it's probably one of my favorite Benchmades of all time. I just love the classic lines of this modern traditional flipper. It looks very good. I love the shield on there. You can see that it's essentially just the white G10 under, and they just remove some of this dark G10 up here. Love the look of it. I love the kind of tanto-ish point on it. I guess it's like tanto, but it's kind of like a drop point too. Maybe a drop tanto. I'm not good with the blade shapes yet. But I just love the look of it. Very classic, traditional. I think you'll notice that with the theme of this, things are very kind of like traditional designs with like a modern twist. All of these knives have great action. I absolutely love the look of every single one of them. This is probably, you know, I started this channel about like 3 months ago. And I think, you know, I haven't moved out of the budget world yet, but I'm verging into leaving, like wanting to purchase new budget options. You know, like the CJRB Feldspar, phenomenal knife. But I'm going to carry the Finch over it every time. I love this knife. I think it's so great. It just feels like a step above, and I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, guys, thanks so much for giving me support of the channel, stopping by. It's much appreciated. Let me know maybe what is your favorite of these knives. I'd love to hear, and then I'd also love to have you guys, you know, maybe throw in some suggestions on what I could do in the future. Maybe some new video ideas. And yeah, if you haven't already, please like the video, throw down a subscribe. I would really appreciate it. We recently hit 200 subscribers. Super excited about that. Anyways, guys, thanks for coming to see my most carried of September. Peace.